Sometimes the best stories in golf aren't found on tour. You'll find them at the back of the range. And here's your host, Ben Adelberg.
Thank you again for joining me here at the back of the range. I'm your host, Ben Adelberg. This is episode 32. Our guest this week is Sandra Gal on a lake from Germany. I am not kidding. Don't worry, I will explain. So a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. You know the drill. When you tell people about the podcast, tell them that you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the central hub of the podcast where you can learn everything about us, listen to all the previous episodes. Head over to thebackoftherange.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll find that information in the show notes of this podcast. And if you're listening and you like the episodes, leave a review. I can't stress enough how important that is. Remember, if you're enjoying this podcast, we will keep bringing you amazing guests each and every week. Speaking of Instagram, you know we started Free Towel Tuesdays. We have some really nice caddy towels with the center slit in them. You put them over an umbrella or an alignment stick. They have our logo on them, and we're just giving them all out. So follow us on Instagram, the Back of the Range Podcast, and on Tuesdays, I'll ask you to like the page, maybe give a tournament pick here and there, but leave a comment. You'll get in a drawing. You'll get a free towel. Remember, everyone needs a golf towel. And if you have one of those towels in your possession, we need to see it on social media. So next time you're out and about and you're playing, snap a picture, tag us online. Help us out a little bit. Spread the word. All right, episode 32. Sandra Gal from a lake in Germany. Right. Sandra competed last week in the Scottish Open, and she's competing this week in the Ricoh British Open in Lancashire. But before these two tournaments, she was taking a little vacation in her home country of Germany. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that she'd be available for a quick chat during her vacation. So we set everything up and got her on the phone, and I hear waves in the background. And I'm asking her, like, well, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm on a lake. Because, of course, why wouldn't she be? So we didn't really get into her junior playing days in Germany, and we really didn't talk a lot about her collegiate career at the University of Florida, but there is tons of great bio information on her website, sandragal.com. We'll put that link in the show notes. You can find out a lot of her outside interests and her tournament finishes and all the things that are important to her. But this conversation was a lot of fun. We talked about her life on the tour. She is absolutely great. She's a great follow on social media and really just a good representative of what the LPGA is all about. So let's get to the interview now with Sandra Gal from a lake in Germany. Sandra, welcome to the Back of the Range.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You've had a great last month. You had a couple missed cuts earlier in the year, but have really played well in June. So I guess my question to start off with is, how do you transition from deciding to take a vacation and get away when things are going so well on tour?
Yeah, I'm actually still trying to figure that one out.
Okay.
This is my first day on vacation. Yeah, and it's just a short one, but I think it's nice to kind of reflect on a few good weeks and just trying to kind of relax. I played 6 tournaments in a row the last few weeks, and I think it's important to kind of recharge again before our last stretch of tournaments that are coming up before we go to Asia.
Sure. You mentioned earlier that you are on a lake right now.
Yes.
Definitely the first guest we've had on the podcast calling in from a body of water. Where in? I know you're in Germany. Can you give any specifics about what you're doing on your vacation for these 2 weeks?
Yeah. So I actually have some family in Munich.
Okay.
And there's a few really pretty lakes in the south of Munich. So I'm at one of them, and I was actually just, came out here, lay out a little bit, and you can see the Alps in the distance. It's really pretty.
Okay, so this is a rough Thursday for you. So when you have this vacation time, so I do some reading of regular books occasionally, but one thing I did read that a lot of people in the United States, at least, don't take their full allotted vacation time. One of the biggest reasons they don't is because they fear all this work waiting for them when they get back. So obviously you're not coming back to a stack of papers on your desk, but you do have to come back to competition. How do you get back into it? Do you fear the lack or the reduction of your sharpness in your game? How do you get back into golf at that level?
I think people kind of misunderstand a little bit. When I say vacation, it doesn't mean I put my clubs away completely. So tomorrow I'll start practicing. It's like, it won't be like a full day like I do during tournaments or when I'm really getting ready. So as long as I do a little bit every day, so I have 2 weeks off. So if I do 2-3 hours every day, and then maybe as my last week comes, I'll definitely play a little bit more and spend some more time on the golf course, and then I'm fine.
Gotcha.
If I would just take, a week and a half off from golf completely, that would be hard to come back.
Right. So this is kind of like a working vacation, so to speak.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'll still call it a vacation.
There you go. So we're not going to hit on your entire amateur career playing juniors, but we have had a lot of Gators on this podcast. In fact,
oh, cool.
Let's see. Oh gosh, Kevin Hammer's been on this podcast, and Duke Butler IV has been on this podcast, and two other ones that are coming up pretty soon, which I will tease a little bit later. But in a quick statement, what can you tell me about golf in Gainesville that you most enjoyed?
Oh, there was a lot of things I enjoyed. I loved my team and just the atmosphere we had. The golf course was right on campus.
Sure.
So there was never much traveling. We just literally felt, being part of our team, being part of the whole Gator Nation. I was there when we won 3 national championships. So that whole kind of unity, that was awesome. And we had a great golf course to practice at. We had beautiful practice facilities. So we spent a lot of time out there, not wasting a lot of time, traveling somewhere. So it was always just kind of school, practice, schoolwork, and obviously hanging out as a team. So it was a great time.
Sure. So you got your card in your first try. I believe it was 2008, if my research is correct. And you get right on tour. How long did it take for you to actually say to yourself, hey, I can do this, I can play professionally? Because just getting your card doesn't mean you feel like you really are belonging and you are completely qualified to do it. When did it kind of hit you that, okay, I can do this for a living? I can.
Well, I was really scared. My first event, I had no idea how I would do. Yeah, because I was a really good amateur, and I did really well in college, but I just didn't know what the level of play was out there. So my first tournament, I was really scared, but I made the cut my first tournament. I was like, okay, this is good. But the whole year, I felt like I also didn't know how I would do competing the entire year and what it takes to keep your card. So that whole first year was really stressful. But I think by my second year, I kind of felt like, I had a few more good finishes, and I thought, I can do this.
Sure. And who were some of the veterans that helped you along the way during your rookie year?
To be honest, I didn't have a lot of help from veterans. I think I wouldn't blame them as much as, maybe me not reaching out very much at that point. I don't know. I was just very introverted, and I was very different than I am now.
Okay. That kind of shocked me with that statement. I'm like, wait a minute, who am I talking to? What's going on here?
Yeah. I changed a lot over the whole career, and I think I just I was more intimidated in the beginning, and even more so. That's why now I've been a big sister to a few girls, and I love doing that, and I feel like they are I always encourage them to ask me questions and don't be shy, and they've been really good about that. So I really love helping girls out now because I know the value of it. I think if I had reached out more, I would have been more comfortable.
Well, and that kind of brings me into a question that I had. That's no secret that you have several outside interests, whether it's your painting or your artwork or your singing, and you have all these other interests. And then I'm sure you're seeing a lot of girls coming onto the tour that golf is their life. That's all they have. And do you I guess my question is like, what do you do to kind of communicate that to the rookie? Say, look, this can't be your entire existence. How do you communicate
Right.
that?
You can't change someone else's life,
Of
but I
course.
think you can lead by example. I think that's the best way to communicate. And I think a lot of people, by seeing what I do, they will try to have different interests too. So how else would I communicate? I don't think I can. No one can ever be in the position, hey, this is not good, you need to do this.
Right.
Unless they ask me and they say, look, I'm unhappy, then I can give advice, but I can't just kind of jump into their life, because a lot of the times, the parents are also very involved and have ideas about how their life should be. So, but to be fair, I also, like, for example, I was a big sister to Olavia, the girl from Iceland, and she has other interests outside of golf, and I think we encourage each other to, explore them, and that's maybe not the case with many, but there are definitely people out there who are young and who have perspective.
Sure. So, just randomly, who are some of your practice round buddies out on tour? A lot has been made of, Phil's kind of circle on Tuesdays, his money games with Ricky Fowler and some of the other guys. I don't know a lot about the practice round culture on the LPGA Tour. So do you guys like to get each other pocket, or do you like to play for winners?
I love playing money games, actually. Okay. I've played a bunch of them this year. I played with Ryan O'Toole.
Okay.
We actually even had a game on Saturday during a tournament, because we played together. So we played, $10 birdies.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this year I played a money game with Olavia, with Lydia, it's not like we're regular, but anytime we get to play together, I always say, do you want to play? And they're like, sure. Okay. And Ryan O'Toole, she loves to bet. She loves to play for money, so it's always, we tease each other. It's super fun.
Who would have thought golfers being degenerate gamblers, even at the highest level? That's good to hear. So you're working with a new coach. You recently moved over to Cameron McCormick, the Spieth Whisperer. So how did that relationship start? I think we as golf fans, we find out that players have a new coach. How did that relationship start?
Well, I saw him out on tour because he's been working with Soyeon Yu. And so I kind of felt like I needed a change, and I just kind of approached him and, asked him if I could have his contact, and he gave it to me. And then it happened to be just before a stretch of tournaments where he came out to the LPGA. So I basically, for a stretch of weeks, I saw him every week.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. And so it kind of made the beginning really easy, because he teaches out of Dallas, but obviously he travels a lot for the PGA Tour and for our tour, and just kind of having him there and helped a lot. And so we got started really quickly.
Great. And then you moved to left-hand low with your putting.
I did. Mm-hmm.
How's that?
Yeah, that was actually that was so funny, because there's a new LPGA Tour Alliance, and so PGA invited us to TPC Sawgrass for the Players Championship, and I knew he was there, so I took a lesson during those couple days. Right. That I also spoke to some of the guys on tour, and we went on the putting green, and I had just had a rough week putting, and I explained to him everything, and he said, why don't we try that? And I absolutely loved it, and it's been great ever since.
Good. What is one tournament on the LPGA Tour that you try and play every year, not so much for maybe the course, but because of the surrounding culture, nightlife, friends that you have in town? What's one that is maybe on your calendar for that reason?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's see. Arkansas. Okay. But the course is also great, but right. I also have really good friends there. And so I used to stay with them every year. And this year they were selling their house, so I couldn't stay with them. But I'm really close to their daughter, so we just hung out all week. And it's a tradition, we cook, we hang out, and we go shopping, or we do something else. And it's always something I really look forward to, because it's also a 3-day event. So we have a lot of time during the week to just do things together.
Sure.
So that's a traditional stop that I would never miss. Good. Even if it didn't fit my schedule.
Right. Okay. So, perfect. So Annika played the Colonial. Brittany Lincingham's going to play Barbasol this year.
Yes.
I know Michelle Wee has done that, has played men's events several times. I'm not going to ask you that question if that's on your radar and something that you want to do. I'd rather ask you this question. I know that you follow the PGA Tour a lot. If you could move an LPGA Tour event to one of the regular PGA Tour stops, which one would it be?
Augusta.
Okay, I should have said. I was going to put that caveat in there, but I figured she probably won't pick the easy one. Yep, she did. Okay, get rid of Augusta.
I know you said regular tour event, but I still had to say it.
No, you have to. That's fine. So forget about Augusta for a second. I'm going to ask you if you played there, but
okay.
Where do you want to take the girls? It's the Sandra Gal Invitational. You get to bring everyone over.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to go Pebble Beach.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's just another home of golf right there.
Is anyone going to even make their tee time, or are you just going to sit and look at the ocean and drink wine all day?
Oh, I bet they're going to make the tee time. We all love that golf course.
Yeah. So have you played there? Have you played Augusta?
Mm-hmm. I have not played Augusta. I've been there. I haven't played it yet, but definitely been to Pebble. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I know with all the travel that you're doing, flying all over the world, I'm sure it has happened at some point. You have forgotten to pack something. You have left and you've forgotten something. What's the one thing that if you forget, no matter what it costs when you get to your destination, you have to replace it immediately?
My pillow.
Your pillow.
Yes. Yeah. I travel so much.
Right.
Literally this year, I'm going to be at home in Orlando for 8 weeks. So, my pillow is the one and only thing that's always the same. And I know I can sleep on it really well. It's like a Tempur-Pedic pillow. Okay. So if I don't have that, I will not sleep well. Okay. So if I left that somewhere, I'm going to go buy one.
Right. Okay. All right, good. And is there a name brand? We don't have any sponsors yet. I could reach out. Okay.
I don't. No,
yeah, that's a hell of an endorsement right there. So, all right, Let's see another one. You're out of the town with a friend from the tour. You both lose your phones. You have to find a way back to the hotel. Mm-hmm. This is a very challenging situation here. You need someone you can depend on. You have no phone. Your friend has no phone. Who is that friend that you want by your side in this time?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You got to figure out a way to get back. You got to catch a flight. Who do you want?
Yes.
Who did you want to lean on to get you back?
Yes. Amy Olsen.
Okay.
Yeah. She's super smart, and I could close my eyes and jump anywhere. I would trust her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Man, you're just endorsing a lot of people here. This is good stuff. I know this is a big one, but how, really quickly, how do we help the LPGA Tour grow as far as closing the pay gap, getting more sponsors? I know that's a big monster of a question, but especially when you're sitting on a lake. But what's one small thing that you'd like to see happen? Maybe something that you see is done on the PGA Tour that you'd like to see done on the LPGA Tour.
I think we've done really well, first of all, and I think we're moving in the right direction for many years. What I would like to see, I think not so much doing, because we're a different product than the PGA Tour. Right. I can't really say I want to do this like the PGA Tour. Yeah, we would love to have as many followers or TV ratings, but we're just a different product. So I think if we could somehow, like in tennis, have tournaments at the same venue or back to back or closer together, that would help out a lot. Because people love watching us play. And they can really relate to us. 2000, when was that?
You talking about Pinehurst?
14? Yeah, Pinehurst. That was awesome. Yeah, people love that. I hear it all the time. And they stayed, after the men's, they stayed for the women. And that's something we need to do more of, or have a limited field and have them both at one course at the same time. Things like that, just like the tennis, and then the prize money will just equalize.
Sure. Yeah, and the other thing that I'd love to see come back is that JCPenney Classic.
Yes.
I think the height
That's
of it.
a given.
Yeah,
Yes.
that needs to come back because I think I remember at the height of it was like Tiger and Kelly Keeney played together.
Yes.
So
That's right.
I'd love to see that come back. Who would you pick as your partner in that if that does come back?
Oh my goodness!
And you can't say Martin Keimer because you already went for an easy one with the Augusta. So I'm gonna nip this in the bud. You got to think a little bit outside the box here.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna say Tony Finau.
Okay.
I think he's a great guy. He has an amazing game. He's up and coming. He hits it really long, and we get along. So I definitely want to play with him. And
but you got to steal him away from Lexi, didn't they? I think they played together in Naples. Oh
yeah, so she booked him for the next 10 years.
I'll ask her. I'll get that figured out. Actually, Lexi and I are from the same hometown, Coral Springs, Florida.
Oh, cool.
So,
wow, nice.
So yeah, we'll get that figured out for you.
Okay.
So what are the parts of the I saw an interesting quote from Danielle Kang. She one of her friends was giving her a hard time because she's saying, look, Danielle, you don't have a real job. I have a real job. It's 9 to 5. I can't just pop out for lunch whenever I feel like it. So obviously you have a real job. It's a very demanding job. But what are some of the challenges that you have that friends just don't understand? I mean, they see you on TV, they see the glitz and the glamour, but what are some of the things that are super challenging that make it a job, that make it difficult?
I obviously always try to be grateful for what I do,
Absolutely.
But I think people don't see the struggles that we have, and that's okay. Like, I also don't think, like, just because I had struggles doesn't mean you have to have a lot of struggles. But I think if you want to be the best in the world, there's going to be times that are going to be really difficult because you're pushing yourself through something that not a lot of people have done. So there's going to be, that's where a lot of people give up, I think, and don't make it because it does get hard. And that's what you probably don't see on TV. It's the times when you missed a bunch of cuts in a row and you're in your hotel room in Alabama, and you're trying to figure out your game, your life, and maybe your card might be on the line, and you don't have a pension, you don't have a regular, money that comes in every month, except when you're lucky and you got great sponsors. I feel very lucky for that, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there on tour who, it's not all rosy every time. So, I would say the challenges would be always trying to figure out how you can be better. And when it doesn't go your way, to keep believing in yourself, to, those moments.
Of course.
And have a good team around you to figure out. It's not just, I'll believe in me. I mean, it's really, okay, what's going on with the putting? What exactly is it? Like, why do under pressure, or do I do this? Why, really figure it out.
No, well said. Let me change gears here. Pro-Am. So not that this would ever happen because, men aren't intimidated at all by a woman that can outdrive them or outplay them. I know this would never happen, and I hope the sarcasm is traveling over to that lake that you're sitting on. But can you think of a time that you played a Pro-Am that just like a funny story from a Pro-Am from just some guy just trying way, way too hard? Or has that just happened way too much?
I think I've been really lucky with Pro-Ams. I think... Yeah, they do like to. I think there's guys that just really hit it very far. And so obviously they're going to be longer than you, but then they just try to kill it every single time.
Right.
And so it's kind of funny. Or they'll be just about as long as you, and they try to outdrive you. And then when I do, I give them a really hard time. I just I really joke with them a lot. So I think they always loosen up at some point and don't take it so seriously.
Good. You have, 2019 Solheim Cup is coming up. You're a two-time member of the team. You're a rookie captain's pick. That is, I was surprised, just not surprised, related to you, but just in general, you don't think of captain's picks so much being rookies all the time. There are a lot of rookies on that team in 2011. You had Melissa Reed and Headwall and Munoz, and then 2015, obviously playing at home in Germany. When do you start getting ramped up and thinking about making that team?
I think by the beginning of next year. I mean, obviously points count now already, but they'll count double next year. So I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to that, once the season starts next year.
And if you can pick just one facet of the
honestly, I hope I don't have to get picked. I just make the team.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
exactly right. No. I was going to ask you that whole thing back in 2011, because you made the team on points in 15. You were a captain's pick in 11. But what are those months leading up to the deadline of when they make the picks? Was it just a miserable experience? Because did you think every round, every event was just, I have to show my stuff, I have to show what I can do?
Yeah. 2011 was interesting because I had won in March.
Yeah.
And then I kept playing well, and then I had a little bit of a funk, and so I definitely wasn't worried about it. But I knew I was playing well, and my game was good, but I just didn't score as well, so I was definitely worried about it. So when I got the call, I was so excited.
Good. And
yeah.
And just one aspect of, I know it's so many parts of the experience from both years. What's one of the things that you really miss and want to get back to as a member of the Solheim Cup team? Not so much as the competing on the course, but is it just being in the team room? Is it the camaraderie? What's one thing that you really want to get back to?
I know you said not on the golf course, but how can you exclude that?
I know.
It's just all these crowds, and every shot matters, and there's a pressure you've never really experienced until then, and it's just so rewarding when you play good golf, and outside the golf course, it's definitely just the singing and all the just being together, the team that we don't get to do very often in professional golf in general.
Sure.
So that team feeling is great.
Well, you're a fan of the PGA Tour. Obviously, we have kind of a segment here at the back of the range called the Quick Bucket. I ask this question just about every single person that comes on. So Jack Nicklaus won the Masters in 1986 at the age of 46. Compare that victory to a potential fifth green jacket of Tiger Woods. Which would be the more substantial victory?
Oh, I would say Tiger's fifth green jacket.
Okay.
Especially after all that he's gone through now.
Yeah.
If he were to win now, I think it's a pretty obvious answer, I would say. I mean, not to take anything away from Jack, but, I mean, my goodness, winning the Masters 5 times, and after all these surgeries and everything, it would be unreal.
Yep. Yeah. We're kind of split down the middle. We're kind of around. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of different answers.
All right.
Let's see. If you can give a major to anyone in history on the PGA Tour, see what I did there? Who'd you give that major to?
Ricky Fowler.
Okay.
I think he's going to get one, but I'd give him one. I mean, he just has such a big heart, as in courage, and he plays with so much passion, and he has the game. So yeah, I want to see him win one.
I always see Michelle Wee in those pictures of him when they party down in Jupiter for their 4th of July events. You ever get invited to any of these, or is they seem to always have a pretty good time?
I see that. Yeah, I'm not in that group. And yeah, I'm on a lake in Germany.
That's going to be the tagline of this episode. Sandra Gal, I'm in a lake in Germany. So,
yeah.
So Sandra, I really, really appreciate the time. As you said, calling in from a lake in Germany is definitely a first for us. I hope you have a great remainder of your vacation. I know you're going to go play. Let's see, you got the Scottish and the British coming up pretty soon, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, all the best to you there, and thank you again for joining us here.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to Sandra Gal for joining us this week at the Back of the Range Golf Podcast. Hope you all will be following her this week at the Rico British Open and for the rest of the season. That's it for this week. We will see you again next week here at the Back of the Range.